Favourite time of the week to talk to our favourite person in the world. Megyn Kelly joins us now from the United States. How are you, darling?
Hi, how are you?
Now, I've got to say, while I've had many sleepless nights watching all the details of the Trump trial, I've always tried to give the benefit of the doubt to the judge that he's trying to be fair. The past couple of days, though, he has shown he has got it in for Trump, and when he has the chance to sentence him, will probably send him to jail. Why do I say that? Because anyone who was there for the prosecution can talk for as long as they want about anything that doesn't have anything to do with the actual case. But when a defence witness is brought forward, every single question was objected to, and when the person in the witness box was sort of frustrated that they could never start to answer questions, the judge clears the courtroom and loses his brain.
They never should have called Costello. He was useless. He did not add to the defense's case. They should have projected strength by saying, we feel no need to call any witnesses. Projecting to the jury, the case hasn't been made, and we don't need, he didn't add anything. I know he said, Cohen has said repeatedly that he had nothing on Donald Trump. He had nothing on Donald Trump. They had already gotten Cohen to admit that on cross-examination. That was already in the record. They didn't need Costello for that. And I think it was pretty clear that Trump wanted him and probably overruled his lawyer's advice not to call him. And while Costello is a very smart guy, to me, at least from what I read, because I didn't get to see his testimony like everybody else, he sounded pretty arrogant and smug and disrespectful to the judge. As much as you may hate the judge, the jury doesn't. The jury sees the judge like dad. He takes good care of us. He makes our meals for us, gets our meals for us. He makes sure that if I have an appointment, I make it there on time. They like the judge. The judge is their hand holder, and they really don't want you to want to see anybody be a prick to him. So it wasn't a good strategy. They shouldn't have called him, but it's all academic because this judge is not on the defense's side. He's been on team prosecution from the start. And I think, again, with the jury selection, the way it went, the jury's probably been on the prosecution side from the start. And I remain today, as I was in the beginning, with the opinion that while he shouldn't be, he's likely to be convicted. And if I have to put my money on one or the other, I say he will be.
Now, again, maybe I'm off in pixie land here, but they haven't proven the case. They truly have not proven the case. Now, yes, there are two dots that are kind of near each other, but nobody has been able to successfully say Trump knew how this was going to be accounted for. And that is the charge. Surely there's someone on that jury who, as much as they may hate Donald Trump, has seen the case has not been proven.
I don't think that Trump ever stood a chance here. I really don't. I mean, I see why some people think there could be a hung jury because you never know. Maybe there's one guy on there who says, I'm not going to do it. But all of this tea leaf reading is playing the odds. And the odds are that this is a jury that is overwhelmingly partisan and that hates Donald Trump. Not just like, he wasn't my favorite president. You know the feelings that Trump can engender in some people. And liberal Democrats in New York are amongst the most partisan. They are not like normie Democrats in the middle of America who are registered Democrat because they think the Democrat Party is going to take better care of them than the Republicans will, but they're not hard partisans. Most New Yorkers are very politically astute and steeped in the news, and they all read the New York Times, so they have been manipulated emotionally and intellectually for the better part of their adulthood. If they're like your typical New Yorker. In New York City, Manhattan went 87% for Joe Biden, 87%. Maybe they found one of the 13%. Maybe they found the one who's going to say, but I doubt it. So it's not that he stands no chance. He stands a 10% chance of getting such a person on his jury. I guess, around 10. And but what's going to happen now, Paul, is that this judge is going to craft jury instructions that are going to, even with that one person who might be over there, lead them right over here to the water. Drink, horsey, drink. Look, it's me, the judge, telling you that this is the very, very low legal standard that you have to pass in order to convict him. And so those jury instructions have never been more important than in this case because it's a complex case. And the judge kept out the elections expert who could have explained to them what is a campaign expenditure. Would a hush money payment to a porn star count as one? And if so, could Trump have paid for it out of his campaign coffers? Why wouldn't we take expert testimony on that? Well, It didn't happen. The jury's going to be confused, and the judge, their daddy, is going to confuse or going to clear it up for them in a way that will only be helpful to team prosecution.
So let's imagine he is found guilty. There's even a chance of him being immediately sentenced. The appeals process. A lot of people say that the unfairness of the way that the judge has been dealing things, including keeping away from the court a person who would be able to say this is not a crime and explain why. They used to work for the Electoral Commission in the United States. So is the appeal going to be the only way Trump's going to get a fair crack here?
Those things will be grounds for appeal and they will be successful. There's no way the appellate courts are going to uphold this verdict if it's a guilty verdict. Zero chance. There's just no way. I mean, maybe the immediate appellate court will uphold it, but will eventually go up to New York State's highest court, the Court of Appeals, which is still a rational body. They're the ones who just struck down the conviction against Harvey Weinstein for very good reasons. So they're not completely irrational, even though I'm sure they all hate Trump too. But that doesn't do Trump any good. That'll all happen well after the election. It's kind of irrelevant at this point. And the Democrats know that. That's why in this case and all the others, they're keeping the pedal down to the metal. They have plans to make sure this case gets tried before the election. And we hear from a source close to the J6 federal trial that they have a plan to get that case going at least before he takes office if he wins. That the goal would be, even if he wins in November, try the case against him anyway, even as the president-elect, and see if you can stop the certification of the vote on January 6th of 2025.
Thank you, Rockstar. Look forward to seeing you again next week.
All right, Paul, thanks for having me.